Hello, today for review I've got one of the most awaited digital audio players on the market. It's FiiO's new M11. Last year FiiO selected the right direction for their DABs development. They've selected to use Samsung Exynos chipsets, and this player is also continues this tradition probably. Their first three test players used Exynos 72 family, but now for more expensive and flagship device they've decided to use Exynos 7872, and actually it gives them a really huge boost in terms of speed. I will show it to you a bit later. In what also they've changed, they used really nice big screen with 720p resolution. It's more than 5-inch in size, and actually it's a huge step up in terms of displays for their lineup. By the price, this player costs $450 or so. It's available on the AliExpress, and as usual will be available at the official dealers worldwide. And by the price range, this player outdates their pretty popular model X5 third generation. So no more X version, new players are from the M series. Probably that's all what I wanted to say in the preface, and now let's have a closer look. Package is pretty stylish. They've decided to use the paper with kind of soft touch effect. It really feels nice with great polygraphy, but at the same time it really gathers the dust. But I don't think it's a big issue. Not much information on the outer box. They've decided not to print all the technical specifications. You know, for me more beneficial will be to create a few different videos, like unboxing, then first impression, sound impression, and so on and so forth. But this review will be full comprehensive review. I've spent few days, probably 5 days already with this player, and I will do a full review. So if you don't interested in unboxing, for example, there will be time marks in the description, just keep it. Anyway, inside you will have player itself. I've put protective film back. You will have this clip to get access to microSD cards, lot of warranty cards, manuals and other unnecessary papers, and also you will have cables, so USB-C cable and coaxial adapter cable. And also you will have this silicone protective case. Of course, everyone would like to have a leather case, but leather case is sold separately for additional $25. Also, there will be some other cases by different manufacturers, I'm pretty sure, on the market. But as you can see, accessory set is basic, but I think it's all we need for the player. In terms of design, everything is really nice. Player is made from solid aluminum block. It has black color and it built really nicely. But of course it became bigger to host this 5-inch screen, so as you can see it's even bigger than their classic X7 flagship. Bigger in both dimensions. But thanks to FiiO designers they made it pretty slim, so it still fits to the pocket, at least it fits my pocket. Design reminds classical X5 third generation, but just became noticeably taller. So here is play pause button, volume control, tracks navigation. On the upside there is on off button. It's also used for locking the screen. Also there is a circular LED indicator. On the right side there are two trays with microSD cards, so you can have really lot of space. Also it has 32 gigabytes of built-in memory, and about 24 gigabytes will be available for you. But you can use up to 2 micro SD cards of maximum size. And another noticeable change, on the bottom you can see regular headphones output and two balanced outputs, 2.5mm and Pentacon 4.4mm, so all balanced outputs are available. It's a pretty powerful player. If I remember specs right, from the single-ended output you can get to up to 200 milliwatts for 32 ohms load, and from balanced output about 500 milliwatts. So really powerful device. And USB-C, universal port, it can be used for charging, to access the content of the built-in memory and memory card. It can work as a USB digital to analog converter. You can use it as a digital transport, connecting it to some other digital to analog converter. You can use it even in complex scenarios like receive signal via USB and transmit it via Bluetooth, or vice versa, so it can work as a USB Bluetooth receiver or transmitter. And also it supports quick charging, so full charge will take you about 2 hours and a half, actually 2 hours and 40 minutes in my tests. And this charge will be enough for about 9 hours playback from balanced output and more than 12 hours from single-ended output. And via Bluetooth it can pay, I don't know how much, but more than probably 25 or even 30 hours, even with the LDAC codec. Back panel is covered with glass. It has Hi-Res certification, Hi-Res audio and Hi-Res audio wireless, and this time these labels are below the protective screen. It has carbon-like texture and looks pretty nice. Thanks to FiiO, they attached protective glass from the factory. And let's turn it on, just to show you the screen. There is LED indicator that I told you about. And boot up start. So while it's booting up, also it has a pretty efficient power management, so you can not turn it off frequently, you can keep it in the deep sleep mode. And actually it's not the maximum brightness. As you can see, screen is really bright, it has good resolution. Of course, it's not DX200 with its 1080p display, but 720p is also really good. Firmware of this player is based on the Android 7.0. FiiO stopped experiments with creating pure music mode. Now you will have a regular Android with FiiO's built-in player, and I think it's the best and the smartest solution, that will satisfy almost everyone. So let's first look at some Android features and then proceed to the player. So as usual you will have this drop-down menu, but now you will have phone out or line out, storage management, gain, filter settings and AirPlay if you need it. It supports AirPlay, and actually in terms of wireless connectivity it's really advanced player. It has Wi-Fi and actually pretty fast working Wi-Fi because it supports modern standards. It has Bluetooth with all possible codecs, LDAC, aptX and so on and so forth. I will show it a bit later. And in the settings there are additional options. So here in Bluetooth you will have Bluetooth decoding AMP mode, so you can connect to the player and stream Bluetooth here. There are actually also two types of controls you can select when player is first turned on. You will select the language and also the control type. So you can select this regular Android strip on the lower part of the screen with back button, or you can you can control it via gestures. So to go back, I prefer gesture mode. I just don't want some additional controls on this nice screen. So to go back, just swipe from right to left. To go to the home screen, swipe from bottom, and task manager, swipe from bottom and wait for it. So let's go back. So Bluetooth, audio settings, output selection, SPDIF out mode, so DSD over PCM or DSD to PCM. gain, low pass filter mode, wireless playback quality. So as you can see, aptX, aptX HD, two type of LDAC and SBC. Also there is HVA codec available, but it should be activated from the FiiO player screen. USB mode, digital analog converter, storage balance, inline remote. Also a really good option is all to DSD. It enables upsampling all the signal to DSD. It improves a bit imaginary stage, but actually battery consumption in this mode almost double. So adjustable volume at the line out and AirPlay. So you turn it on and connect it via the AirPlay. All other options are pretty much familiar. So, and FiiO updated version of the AirPlayer, really nice. It really efficiently utilize all the free available space. So after turn it on, you can see the songs in current playlist, local music playlists and DLNA, and recently played tracks here. Local music, it's media library, all tracks, artists, albums, genres and folder browse. Here you can select sort options and display hidden files. So everything is pretty everything is pretty convenient and working pretty good. So as you can see, there is two levels of grouping. Select artist and go to the album. Now playing screen is also pretty familiar. So big album cover. If lyrics is available, it will be shown. Information about the track, play order, favorites, add to playlist, and all other familiar options. Also you can return to the main menu of player, album, check track info, equalizer, search and delete songs. So equalizer is regular linear equalizer. They improved the work of equalizer, but still it distorts signal a little bit, so I prefer to keep it disabled. And also there are a lot of options in the player's application: sleep timer, resume, scan for music, actually really fast scan. Also they improved their theme selection. You can select few backgrounds including custom one, and for the every single background you can also select its transparency and blurriness, so you can see it clearly or blur it, and also you can select the level of transparency. So thanks to these options you can actually really nicely customize the outlook of your player. So here is it applied. You can even select the missing album cover if you need. Equalizer I already showed, gapless playback, play through folder, lock screen album art, replay gain, by album, by track, USB output. Here is HVA, Bluetooth codec I have already told you, Wi-Fi music transfer, language selection, database reset, FiiO Link, it's the feature that allows you to control the player from the smartphone. Actually no, few of these options more logically should be moved from here. For example, USB output not sure, but HVA should be selected in the codecs menu, or in Wi-Fi music transfer could be used as separate application, but well, I don't think it's a big issue. So player is really fast, it has really nice transitions and animations. So as you can see, it's snapping panels, and it works pretty nicely. So I've got two firmware updates, so FiiO updating it pretty frequently, adding features. For example, it now can receive LDAC music and so on. Actually really nice processor, and 3 GB of RAM is pretty noticeable. So it's pretty smooth, pretty fluid even in the external applications. Probably the only missing feature here is Google Play services. The thing is that Google don't provide Play service for Android of 7.0. They just push everyone to move to the newer versions of Android, and newer versions of Android is not available for this chipset, so there is no Play services. Maybe actually we will have some custom firmwares with added Google Play services. At least it was done for the iBus, so probably it could be implemented here. But FiiO created pretty convenient application for applications. So let's connect to the Wi-Fi. Well, come on, I've got internet. Yes. So, application or FiiO Market. So here you will have all popular streaming applications, third-party APK market. So you can use APK Pure, Cool APK, and few additional apps. So you can install streaming services. Of course, you can just copy APK here and install, so it's not a big issue, it's just a bit of lacking convenience. And of course about the sound. This time FiiO decided to tune their DAB in more natural way without any coloration, and it's a step aside from the X5 III, which sounds a bit on the warmer side for me. It has additional weight put onto all frequencies, and because of that sounding a bit on the darker side. M11 is tuned to be as much natural as possible. It's not, truly monitoring and totally natural device with focus on the micro contrast. It's kind of a balanced representation. So let's have earphones on the table, for example. This time it will be Noble Audio Han. And let's go side by side. So bass is not elevated without any additional weight put it here. It has a normal resolution, of course not matching to the high-end dubs, but normal resolution, good texturing, well, nice control all over the frequencies and good depth. If I'd go for nitpicking, I say that I'm lacking a bit of deep bass control, but it's not an issue for this price range probably. So, good bass with natural representation. If you like more accented low frequencies, for example, it's not a player for you, or actually you can get this player, but you need to find earphones with additional bass. As an example for the low frequencies, here is the track that I've selected this time. It's Nightwish, Greatest Show on Earth, and their final epic, Endless Forms Most Beautiful. Long 24 minutes track dedicated to Richard Dawkins' works. That's why I like Nightwish and heavy metal in general. And somewhere in between there is ambient part with a lot of different background noise, with some sound of rolling stones, with some rumbling, with some animals sounds, and with deep roar, and that's why I selected this track. And M11 plays this part nicely. It plays all this track also in good way, but this part sounds really enjoyable. Mid frequencies are also represented in the same manner. They are not colored, zero additional coloration, so no attempts to add some emotions, no attempts to add additional weight, just what is recorded you will get. At the same time, it's not, scene and monitoring representation. Weight of mid frequencies is balanced nicely, and emotions are also represented nicely. That's what makes this player stand out compared with other players in this price range. Actually, comparisons will be in next part of the review. And what I was saying, nice emotions, so it's not super sensitive for the quality of records, but it's better to select something properly recorded for it. Mids have good resolution, above the average, and it makes this player really nice for those who like mid frequencies especially. Imaginary stage is above the average both in width and in depth. I'm sorry, here is train passing somewhere nearby. So mids are... Imaginary stage is above the average in width and in depth, with good three-dimensional positioning, with good depth layering. As an example for the mid frequencies, I've got... here is Danny Elfman, Serenada Schizophrenia, and actually track named I Forget. Nice orchestral work. I like such examples of classical music, you know. Maybe it's not correct, but I call it not dull classical music. I like something like that. Lot of instruments and a really nice vocal part that is nice vocal part that goes pretty high, so it's good stress for the upper mids for dub, and FiiO plays this part also pretty nicely. And treble, I'm a treble fan, so for me treble is one of the most important things, and treble here is also nice. It has good extension and nice resolution, normal attacks and decays. Layering is basic, but it's common for the middle price range. And what else? Treble sounds really realistic and controls nicely, so no sharpness, no attempts to make some pseudo-detalization effects or something like that. And as an example of treble, I've got another beautiful work. You know, I simply enjoy how covers look on this screen. It's David Gilmour and dancing. No, so actually next track should be example In Any Tongue. Nice, really lightweight tune with really high pitch guitar sounds, with a lot of percussion effects going really high into treble area, and this player also represents it really nicely. So in terms of, to summarize everything about the sound, it's natural tuning with good resolution without focusing on the micro contrast, and probably two main problems that can be noticeable comparing with more expensive gear. It needs a bit of control on the deeper bass and of course treble layering. But once again, I must admit that it's good for this price range, and it's just in comparison with more expensive devices. And of course, it's not a device for those who like some colored signature or some additional emotions or something like that. It's a really powerful player, so it can drive even power-hungry cans. Of course, not the most heaviest ones, but almost every cans, especially from the balanced output. Actually, forgot to mention that with balanced output you will have a bit more resolution on the treble and a bit more spacious sound. So sound stage improves on the balanced output if you need a bit more staging. So it can drive even full-size cans, even high impedance ones, but at the same time what is really good, it's almost silent, and I really like it. Even with sensitive in-ear monitors there is almost zero background noise, so it's a pretty universal player. What else I can say about it, but looks like I've said everything about its sound. And briefly a few words about comparisons. Probably I will need to make some additional videos about comparisons, because a lot of interesting dubs were released recently and will be released in the nearest future. But anyway, so first of all, speaking of course about FiiO own players. Compared with X5 III, for me it's definitely an improvement because it's more natural, more resolving, and for me it's a more mature sound with better control, especially on the treble. That's what I've missed in the X5 III. But if you are used to X5 III representation and you like it, so just audition this player before buying, because it has a bit different signature. So it's not that case when it's a definitive upgrade, but if you like more mature sound, it is. FiiO's X7 Mark II is a bit more expensive and it offers a bit more tighter low frequencies and a bit more emotional mids thanks to their AMP3 amplification module, but I think FiiO should upgrade their lineup because X7 II looks a bit outdated in terms of chipset and screen and everything. So this one feature-wise is much better dub, but I think that we will see the new FiiO's flagship this year, and most probably this year, because, well, I will say it at the end. Also, I don't know why, but actually many people are comparing FiiO M11 with iBasso DX200 dubs, because the X200 and the X220. And actually, for me, of course, it's pretty not logical, because iBasso are better dubs, they have more control all over the frequencies, they are more energetic and so on, but actually, price difference is not to time, sound quality is not as big as price difference. I think it's good when this player is compared with player that costs 2 times more. This one is 450 and iBasso is 900. And actually, in terms of features and smoothness, FiiO M11 is one of the best dubs, even overperforming iBasso. But in terms of sound, iBasso is more mature. I think it's pretty obvious, taking price into consideration. Hibis R6 is a bit on the warmer side and worse in terms of controlling, especially on treble, so I think M11 is better. And R6 Pro, so I've got it, but unfortunately I don't have enough time to test it properly. It seems to be a bit better in terms of energy and emotions, but I need more comparisons, so probably I will cover this a bit more when I will do an R6 Pro review, because I decided to go first with M11. Opus number 1S and Lotu Po 5000 Mark II are both offering a bit different sounds. They both are highlighting energy and emotions, and they are offering a bit different representation. So if you like such coloration with such some added emotions, more energy and so on, it's will be better for you sonically, but of course in terms of features, and if you like more natural sound, M11 will be a clear winner for you. Also, iBasso DX150, it's of course also not even close in terms of features and smoothness and in terms of interface, but in terms of sound it's more natural and natural on the mids and on the mid bass and lower treble, but both ends of spectrum is better here, so I'd say that they are pretty close. Maybe the X150 is a bit better sonically, but the difference isn't huge. So that's what models I can recall right now. If you will be interested in more details, just feel free to ask me. I probably will prepare additional video later. So to summarize everything, M11 is a really modern dub. It's definitely the smoothest dub in terms of firmware, because here used a really good chipset, one of the best in terms of screen, Of course, in terms of controls, in terms of everything, it's packed with modern features like Bluetooth connectivity, USB connectivity, and so on and so forth. And it's really powerful. It offers also nice battery life and good sound for those who prefer natural tuning. I think it's a really good offer for the $450. Thank you for attention.